Okay. Right. Not sure what else I can do in here. Definitely doesn't really look haunted. Maybe we'll just put the aspiration on here that it's haunted.
Alrighty.
Yep.
So
So,
anyway, so back in 98, 99,
mhm.
I had a 357 Smith & Wesson K-frame,
Okay.
and we had just gotten together, and she needed money, so she took her computer, which wasn't a really good computer, like
Mhm.
30-pounder.
Okay.
It's what old
One of
computer.
the older ones.
Yes, and she took her computer and my 357 and pawned them.
Oh no. That wasn't
Didn't
hers to do that with.
and didn't tell me.
Oh boy.
And she came home, or I came home. She goes, "I can't believe it. I only got like I think it was like $50 for the computer, but I got like fucking $300 for your Smith and Wesson." I said, well, "You what?" She goes, "I don't understand how come I get more for your silly little gun than I would for my computer, because the gun can kill you.
Mhm.
The computer, it's hard to throw at people."
Right.
And it's like, I said, "Well, don't forget you put my gun in the pawn shop. You
Right.
better get it out."
Right.
She didn't.
Of course she didn't.
Nope. And it's like, so I never got another. I never purchased another gun while I was with her, and I still don't have one. But I fired guns,
Well,
like
the
guns.
fact that somebody is so blatant to go and take something that does not belong to them and do that, that
Oh no,
just,
no, it gets worse.
oh God.
So you know the Bradford plates
Uh-huh.
from the Bradford Exchange,
Yeah.
decorative plates.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
I had uh, like 6 sets.
Okay.
6. I had a cat collection.
Okay.
I had an Indian collection. I had the lovers collection,
Mm-hmm.
and I really love these plates.
Yep.
Super awesome. I had the big cats collection,
Okay.
and I had some other ones, but took some, and our neighbor was having a yard sale,
Mm-hmm.
so I said, "Well, I'm not using." I took the cat ones over there and the big cat ones, and I sold those.
Okay.
And I left the ones I really liked in the house, or they were in the garage in their little styrofoam containers,
Uh-huh.
up away from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I'm going out there, it's a couple months later. I go, "Well, I haven't looked at my plates in a while, so I'll go out with plates."
Yeah. Yeah.
I opened up every styrofoam container. They were all fucking empty.
She sold them all?
Yes, she told me they were stolen.
Mm.
And I'm going, why would they open them up,
And steal
take
them.
just the plates, and leave the styrofoam containers? And how would they know that all the certificates of authenticity are in the filing cabinet and those are gone too?
Yeah.
No, she sold them to her friend. And I'm going, you think I'm fucking stupid?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, but that just,
That would piss me
okay,
off.
it did.
That would
It's
piss me
like,
off.
I never trusted her with anything after that. It's like, and that's where our marriage went wrong, because she would shit like,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh no, I can't have anything. So when I got deployed,
Mm-hmm.
I put all my uh, PS2 stuff, my uniforms
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, in this big black Gorilla box.
Okay.
It was locked. And I had like two Gorilla boxes, or two Gorilla storage boxes.
Okay.
Probably know what they are because husband probably has one.
Yep. He has a
Uh,
couple. Yep. He has like
yeah.
4 of them.
So they were all in there locked.
Okay.
That way nobody can get into them.
Right. Right.
Keys.
Right.
And guess what happened?
She broke into them
No. She put them all in storage.
and then didn't pay for the storage.
No. She told me the storage got broken into, and along with all the camping gear. It's like, well, we didn't have any camping gear when we got married. So did you buy camping gear while I was employed?
Okay.
So yeah, me and the girls went camping a couple times. So everything got stolen. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, she didn't. She just got rid of it.
Yeah, she told it. And then, well, I went to the, well, she had a police report, so,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean shit anymore.
Yeah, that really doesn't.
So I took the police report and I got my uniform. But it's like all the other stuff, gone. I was so fucking pissed.
I believe it. I would be
But
too.
she would do that kind of shit all the time. So it's like, and the kids don't realize that. So they think their mom's a fucking, well, yeah, mom had issues, but she was always there for me. It's like, no, she wasn't.
No.
It's like, you're fucking lying to yourself. But
well,
yeah, so,
I to be very honest.
and that's one of the main reasons
Okay.
that I find it hard to let someone back into my life
I understand. So I'm
in a
gonna.
romantic way.
I get it. I
It's like,
do. I understand.
I wouldn't trust. I don't. Yeah. I'm not trusting shit about anybody. I'm not trusting anybody.
I understand. I really do get it. Because with the way that you describe your ex-wife, sounds
Holy
so.
crap! His bills are $4,000.
Yeah,
That's just crazy.
it's expensive there. No. So she reminds me so much of my mother. It's like I had things. Okay, so when I was working 2 jobs, okay, and I would try and save some money, and so I would take little bits out of my paycheck because my mother demanded most of my paychecks.
Right.
And I would take stuff out and I would hide them in books in between the pages. And my sister saw me one time do it and told my mother. And when I went back to get that money from that book,
It was gone.
it was all gone. She had stolen all of it. Well, I don't know what happened to it. Bullshit.
Yeah.
You know exactly what happened to it because you took it.
Yeah. And shit
so
like that just
it's very frustrating because it makes it to where you don't trust anyone.
Exactly.
And the fact that she would sit there and claim, well, I don't know what happened to it, it was, yeah. And then she wondered why I refused to let her in my life or be in my house without me there. And it's like, no, because I know for a fact the minute that you get any access to my house without me there, you're going to go through my shit and you're going to steal stuff. And I'm not going to let that happen. Yeah. And it's like, no.
Yeah, it's like, no.
And then there was this one time where okay, my oldest daughter had just been born. She was maybe 3 or 4 months old. And there wasn't enough room in the car we were bringing home we had this tiny little car at the time, and we were bringing home a recliner from a friend's house, and my mother just happened to be there, and she went and she said that she would take bring my daughter home, and they were supposed to be right behind us. They were supposed to be right behind us on the way home, and she wound up stopping at someplace. I don't. It was like the one of the gas stations or whatever, so that she could go and completely undress my daughter and make sure that there weren't any marks or bruises or anything on her, so that because she was going to call the CPS if there were. And I was calling her. Well, because she didn't like my husband. She did not like my husband. So she was going to blame it on him and call CPS. And it was like, because I was calling her, and she refused to answer the phone. So when she finally showed up at my house, I says, "Give me my child." And she's like, "What?" And I says, "First off, you are never allowed to come here ever again. 2, you will never ever be allowed to be around my kid by yourself ever again. And 3, what you just did, completely unacceptable." And of course she gaslit me. It's like, "No, you don't understand. This was the last straw. I am completely done with you. Leave. You're not allowed in my house ever again. Goodbye." And I took my kid and I went in the house, and that was one of the very last times I ever saw her.
Well, the last time I saw my ex, she was in court when I went for my divorce final.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last time I saw my daughters when they were young. And after I got home, my oldest daughter called me crying because her grandma, the bitch, told her that I didn't even fight. I didn't want them. I didn't even.
My mother did the same thing. That was part of the reason why I didn't have a relationship with my father growing up, was because my mother told me that he didn't want me. Because if he wanted me, he would have stuck around.
Yeah, mine was, if he wanted you, he would have fought. It's like I had no choice, because at the time I was living in a house full of guys. So there's no place for anybody other than me. So it's like, yeah, she was a piece of shit. Her and her mom.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no, and then my mother would use me when I was still there to call up my father and start drama. And at the time, I was a kid. I didn't understand what was going on.
Didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better. So, I don't blame him for not being around because of the bullshit that she would pull.
Exactly.
And that's one of the reasons why I understand now as an adult, and thinking back on the situations, I get why he just left and didn't come back around. Because from what I understand, at the very beginning, he did try to be around there for us. But when he wound up getting remarried to his wife, and they're still married to this day, my mother caused no end of problems for him and his wife. So he was just like, "You know what? I'm done." Just like for me, I was done.
After I left, the only time I had any contact with my ex was at the courthouse. That was the last time that I even talked to her.
Yeah.
And I found out that she had colon cancer. It's like, well, that's what happens when you take it up the butt.
Sorry, that's not even nice.
I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
the only person that knew where I was, because once we moved here, or well, when I moved out of California, nobody knew where I moved to. I did not tell a single person that was part of my family where I was moving to, because I wasn't going to deal with the drama. So,
and why should you?
and well, the my uncle, he knew I was on Facebook at the time. I haven't looked at that for many years now, but he knew where I was from there, and he sent a message and he says, "Hey girly, I don't know if you know, but or I don't know if anybody's actually told you or whatever, but your mother just passed recently of pancreatic cancer." And I was like, "Oh,
Well, that's
okay."
that's nice.
And he's like, "You're not upset?" And I says, "Honey, I mourned the loss of my mother a very long time ago. Because she had written me a letter shortly after my eldest daughter was born. Because she was jealous. My mother was jealous of anybody who gave us anything in our lives, and she took offense. She took major offense to it, and it was like because my eldest daughter is not my husband's daughter, but he's raised her like she was his daughter, and because he was the only one that was consistently there from the time I was pregnant, up until even now. And when her grandmother on her biological father's side found out that I was having a girl, she was ecstatic because she had 2 boys and she had always wanted a girl. So, of course, being a grandmother, right, but her being a grandmother, wanted to spoil the baby, buying little baby girl clothes, and which was
understandable.
Yeah.
Well, it's her granddaughter.
Exactly. Well, my mother, because I pulled out, because it wasn't a lot, but it was something, and my mother had not bought anything for me, for her granddaughter at all. And I was excited, I was like, oh wow, look at what her grandmother got for her, and I was still pregnant at the time. Because it was like a couple of really cute little outfits. She had gone and gotten a changing table, and gotten a few things that, every nursery needs, diapers, things like that. And then my mother stopped, she stopped saying anything while she was there. And then she wound up leaving the house. And 3 days later, I got this letter in the mail saying, well, if you want her to be your mother so badly, you are now dead to me. I am not your mother ever, from this point on. And it's just like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, see, I didn't have that problem with my mom. I actually took my mom's passing pretty hard. My ex-wife, like, nah, I didn't give a shit about that.
No,
like, I felt more sorry for the kids than I did for her.
Yeah, but for me, I had, at that point, after I got that letter, that was when I mourned. That was when I went through that process, because she told me that, one, she was no longer my mother, and as far as she was concerned, I was dead to her. So, and we hadn't talked for. Go ahead.